Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Super Platinum Achievement. I'm Austin.
And I'm Mitch.
And today we're going to talk about video game gimmicks that did not work.
Top 5 gimmicks that didn't work.
So this is a top 5 list, so prepare yourself for the enjoyment of a countdown.
And numbers.
From 5 to 1. And I think we'll just go right for it in number 5.
Number 5.
Yeah, number 5 is the infamous Nintendo Power Glove. The Infinity Gauntlet of video games.
Except didn't work as well.
Except when you snap your fingers, it didn't work.
Gave you carpal tunnel and you probably broke some ligaments in your wrist. I don't know.
So the Power Glove was for the Nintendo Entertainment System, and it launched, and you could play the game, and by moving your fingers, and it had the buttons on the back, you could play certain games with it. You know, there's a movie in it where the guy puts on his Power Glove, and he ends up playing and winning. Everybody's like, oh, that's so cool. I forget what it was. But the kid...
It's like vaguely familiar, and I can't think of
I can't remember what it is, but...
I'm sure you'll find it.
It was sold, and at first, actually, quite a few people bought it. I remember my cousin had it growing up, and then it was just never used again, unless you want to just play like Ninja Turtles like this. And
was it just for one game?
Yeah, there was a few games that actually used it. I can't remember what they are, but after that, it was too expensive to buy, like a lot of gimmicks are. So that's our number 5, the Nintendo Power Glove. Ended up being a failure, and now it's just kind of a nostalgia thing. People buy it to have in their collection, and it's kind of cool to own, but it didn't take off. But at the same time, Nintendo always thinking ahead. It was a motion control precursor in a lot of ways.
Essentially, yeah. I mean, the different tracking.
Yep.
I love the Power Glove. It's so bad.
Number 4.
Number 4.
We decided is the 6-axis on the PlayStation 3 controller.
Yes.
Which we have right here. So this was during the time where when PlayStation 3 came out, there was no rumble or vibration or whatever in the controller, so they came up with their own like unique thing, and it was the 6-axis controller, which allowed you to... It was a motion controller, essentially. Control things in a 6-axis dimension. Yeah. The problem is... No games used it. I think off the top of my head was just Ratchet and Clank.
There was some jet fighter game. I can't remember what it was.
Probably an Ace Combat. Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, it's like it was just so underused and just was a gimmick, was expensive. And as soon as they got the rights for the Rumble Pack back, they kind of ditched it. So, but it's funny now because a lot of controllers today have a lot of motion features with the
They all brought it back in a way. It's not labeled 6-axis, but the Nintendo Pro controller, the Wii U had it, and of course the DualShock 4.
Yes,
all have motion control, and all the new controllers will as well. Except Xbox still.
Yeah, they don't know what they're doing.
They don't care.
They don't go for gimmicks, I guess.
They just games and that's it.
Well, they have a few gimmicks in here, but
yeah.
Number 3.
And then number 3, another Nintendo product here. This one was a big flop, and that is the Nintendo Virtual Boy. Once again, though, they were thinking ahead to virtual reality.
Yeah.
They just didn't do it right.
Let's just shoot red lasers into your eyeballs and make you go blind.
It caused a lot of vision impairment, headaches.
Yeah.
And the way it was designed, I wish I had one. I don't want to spend the money on one right now for my collection. But you put it on, it's got the little strap, and it's got these braces that go to your chest. And then you've got the controller, which actually the controller, the shape and design, was thinking ahead as well. It was very, ergonomic compared to some of the controllers back then. But you just looked at these red lights, and it was not done well, and it was hard to play, and it was just too ahead of its time, you could say, and just flopped. And it was expensive, as a lot of the gimmicks are. That's our number 3, the Nintendo Virtual Boy.
Number 2.
Number 2, we talked about this. It never really came out, but it was such a big deal and then just disappeared. And that's the Microsoft Hololens. So it was, I don't know, E3 several years ago, they went like really heavy into the HoloLens.
It was like half their presentation was like HoloLens.
Had the HoloLens, you can play Minecraft on your table, you can do all this stuff. And then, the augmented reality was the big deal. And then all of a sudden just disappeared.
Didn't talk about it again.
Which makes me think, are they sitting on it when they finally get a VR and then mix it with the AR and do like a hybrid of virtual reality, augmented reality? Probably not. But it just
they're just expecting people to forget about it. I have heard that the HoloLens 2 though is a thing, and that's coming out, and that's going to be used for more medical purposes. So although it was a gimmick and a flop I guess you can't call it a flop because it never existed.
A gimmick.
But it was a gimmick because they used it to hype up, the Xbox that was going to have the HoloLens, and then they never followed through.
Yeah, so it's, like you said, it's going to get used for different purposes, such as like the Xbox Kinect now gets used for several different purposes. It's not in gaming,
Right.
Using for like room mapping and stuff like that with the 3D grid. So, yeah, number 2 for us is the HoloLens by Microsoft that never happened.
Never happened. We saw it on E3, and that was about it. There's other YouTube videos where you can see them using it, but yep. And number 1.
Number 1.
And this is a huge one because it lost a lot of money, and just for the expectations in the previous generation, it failed. And that is the Nintendo Wii U.
Yes.
The Wii.
What do you think in the Wii U? It was it sold. No, I think
So we got the Wii U, and honestly, it was a gimmick because it did a lot of things different. It had the different screen like the DS did. It had the motion control still. And honestly, I think it was a good idea. And they did a lot of things right. What killed the Wii U, in my opinion, was marketing.
Yeah.
But the expectations that were from the Wii, which sold over 100 million consoles, one of the best-selling consoles of all time, and then to the Wii U, which I think didn't even break 20, if I'm remembering right.
It was a major flop, especially trying to follow up the one of the biggest consoles of all time. And yeah, like you said, like the ideas were there, it just wasn't done well enough. I feel like it was like a
prototype to the Switch.
Exactly, like a tech demo that they just sold. Like, oh, here, take this prototype that we just designed in the back room back there behind the trash can. I don't know. So
the same thing. They showed a lot of cool things for it that never ended up coming to light. The using it as a second screen. They had golfing, using it off your tee. And they did a lot of things with their first party games. The one that executed the best was Zombie U for the Wii U. That used the gamepad to its full potential. And really, if more games came out like that, it would have done really well. But marketing killed it, and it was really, really difficult to develop for because people had to develop a game completely around it. And Ubisoft did that with Zombie U, but the console didn't sell enough for other developers to want to, take that risk.
So that's kind of ends up with the fate of all these gimmicks is if it's actually supported, which a lot of them just end up not being.
Right. So that's our top 5. We do have one honorable mention. We couldn't fit it quite into the top 5 because, it didn't fail, but it didn't succeed. And that's just 3D technology in video games. It did have a little bit of a success with the 3DS, but that didn't make it, that wasn't because of the 3D. People didn't buy it because of 3D. They bought it because it was a portable that was more powerful than the DS and had some good games with it.
Yeah, because the PlayStation 3 had 3D and just never got used because no one really likes 3D on their TV.
It doesn't look as good as in a theater. And then
gives you headaches.
Yeah, it gives you a headache. You have to wear the glasses. For the 3DS, I don't know anybody personally that turns 3D on when they play it. They all turn it off on the 3DS. You've got the Switch on the 3DS. Not the Nintendo. It's a Nintendo Switch on the Nintendo 3DS. But you've got this that turns the 3D on, and it's like a little slider bar that how much 3D do you want?
I'd be curious to see when it ships what it's set at. What is factory setting?
Right.
Probably off.
I don't remember.
No, I bet it's on.
I think it's on, and I always just went poop and
turn it
put it off because it just gives you a headache. And some people, I'm sure, love it, but me, I turned it off, and that is why they came out with the Nintendo 2DS because it saved money for them, and people still bought it. Hey, win-win, no 3D.
For sure.
So that's our gimmicks that failed. If you like these kinds of videos, make sure to give us that thumbs up, subscribe, follow us on all our social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We are going to do a follow-up video to this, to the top 5 gimmicks that worked.
Yes.
So look out for that. Thanks for stopping by.
And also, we are doing a giveaway.
A giveaway.
Yes.
For our fans. So as soon as we hit 150 subscribers, so be sure to share it to your friends so we can get more subscribers. We will be doing a giveaway of $25 to your favorite gaming store, whether that be the PlayStation Store, Xbox Store, Nintendo Store, Steam, Epic. There's so many.
Whatever you want, you tell us,
$25
we'll give you a
for
code.
you.
Code for $25. We'll
Just
email it to you.
send us a screenshot of that you subscribe to our channel, and we will put you in our drawing. That's all we need. And
Thanks for stopping by with Super Platinum Achievement.